Good afternoon, Gears fans. I've got my Gears 6 wish list for you, and if you want to kind of just tab out or do something else and just listen to the audio, sort of like a podcast, go right for it, because this one might be kind of long. So let's, jump right into it. So with this video, I'm going to talk mostly about multiplayer. Admittedly, I really don't play Horde. I'm not a big Horde player, so I honestly couldn't critique the game that much or give you a really big wish list, so I'm going to leave that up to the Horde players. And as far as campaign goes, well, some aspects of it I'm alright with, some I'd like to have changed. To be honest with you, I would rather just have a reboot, but I know that's not going to happen in Gears 6, so I'm just going to leave that out as well. This is just going to be a Gears 6 multiplayer wish list, and some aspects will carry over to Horde and campaign naturally on their own. But anyways, okay, let's start off with movement. I would love to have movement much closer to Gears 4 and Gears 3. I just want it to flow. I don't want to get stuck on walls. I don't want to feel like every time I'm hitting left shift or if I'm pressing A on my controller that I'm waiting for the game to hurry up and catch up with my movements. Just fast paced, fast on the walls, fast off of walls, fast rolling, fast weapon swaps, fast weapon pickups. I was playing Gears Ultimate Edition the other day, and wow, it blew my mind how fast you could pick up a weapon. It just made it so much more tactical and easy for me. So just overall, fast play would just be amazing for me. I'd be so happy. Alright, next on my wish list would be... let's see here. Oh yes, this one of course. Please get rid of flashbangs. Oh my gosh, are they just annoying? Any sort of objective game mode like King of the Hill, it's just getting flashed. Smokes I can deal with because you can at least run in and out of them, but flashbangs are being stunned. We hated the stun in Gears 2, although that was a little bit worse because you would get knocked over, but as far as I can tell, we all hate being stunned. It's just not fun. I can live with smokes. I feel smokes are far more tactical because you can use them to hide your position, but just getting flashed is just frustrating. It just kind of feels like we're slowing down the gameplay again. Please just get rid of them. And the fact that you can spawn with or without flashbangs, oh geez, which moves me into my next point with having symmetrical setups, meaning that everyone has the same setup. It is Smokes, Lancer, Gnasher, Snubs. That is it. I understand some people kind of want to move into this world where you can maybe spawn with the Retro, maybe spawn with a Hammer Burst, or an Enforcer and whatnot. And you know what the problem is? I just feel like with Gears, it just makes the balancing a little frustrating when you run into someone and you don't know what they have, and it's just kind of like Gears just really needs to have consistency all around for this game to really flow properly. And I feel like as we've entered these games where we could have a Hammer Burst or a Retro or a Lancer, we all complained about how powerful something was or how something needs to be nerfed or buffed. And I'd rather just have those weapons be map weapons, just so we know, okay, that guy picked up a Hammer Burst, we know that he's got a weapon that's more powerful at long ranges than whatever. But it just needs to be symmetrical across the board. So all starting weapons are the same. Smokes, Lancer, Gnasher, Snubs. Please, that would be wonderful for a Gears 6 wish list. Alright, next in line, let's start with weapon tuning. I would love a Lancer that was closer to like Gears 3, Gears 4. I don't know about Gears 5, the Lancer. Some games I feel like it just owns, and some games I feel like it's worthless, or I'm just constantly dumping shots into someone and they don't go down. I don't know. Every time I hop onto Gears 4 and I pull out the Lancer, I just feel like, wow, I'm actually effective at long range, but not too effective where it's just kind of annoying. I feel like, wow, this is actually a good support weapon, and if you have a team that's cooperating and you actually get Lancers in certain areas of the map, you can cross, decently and actually be effective. With Gears 5, I don't know, I just feel all over the place. Some matches I'm just owning, some I don't. I don't know, so I would rather have a Gears 4 Lancer. I just think that would be great. And as far as the Gnasher goes, definitely remove... Now, this is going to be controversial, and I understand that, but bear with me. The removal of active throughout the entire game. And there was a time where I would just be downvoting that comment to the moon. But I think I've sort of understood that as we string this franchise along, and the fact that with faster movement comes, when you have faster movement, you need to have greater consistency, which I've noticed in this game. You can get away with active in slower paced games because it kind of just made sense a little bit. It, you know, how you time shots and whatnot. But if you want to, you just got to get rid of active when you have this faster style of gameplay, because you really do need that Nasher consistency. It's a must. And I think a big problem with Gears 4, and how I swear the entire community was constantly complaining about it, was we never really knew if we were getting shot or downed by someone who had active or not. So some matches we'd go in and like, oh wow, that guy like downed me in one shot, or you know, I dumped 9 shots into him and he didn't go down. And a lot of it is, do we have active, do we don't have active? No one really knows. It just needs to go. The game needs to like modernize a bit. Just get rid of active, not just with a Nasher, altogether get rid of it. And keep the same amount of shots as it is right now. Do not reduce it to like 5 or 6 or whatever it was. No, just, it's a Nasher oriented game, whether you like it or not. Keep the same amount of Nasher shots, just get rid of the active. And now get this, alright. How about this? Because if I had it my way and we got rid of active, what if we also got rid of jamming your weapon? Where reloading your weapon was just one animation at a set time for all weapons. You could bash RB all you want, you wouldn't jam it, you just reload it like Call of Duty or Halo, you just reload your weapon. And then that's it. I mean, if you got rid of active, I mean, part of jamming your weapon was the trade-off. Could you time it right and get active? Or would you mess up and jam it? Of course, you could always miss active and get a fast reload, but, you know, half the reason for jamming your weapon was the trade-off for active. So, I understand that maybe straying too far away from the Gears formula, that jamming your weapon was all kind of part of the game, and you could technically make an argument for, well, you know, jamming your weapon is just kind of how it is, and, you know, people sort of play towards that. I get it, but just think about it for a second. If we just all had one simple reload. I don't know, I'm 50-50. I like to try it though. So that's how I feel about overall weapon tuning. I can't really talk about every gun in the game. It'd just take forever. But as far as Lancer and Nashers, which I believe are the two most important, a Gears 4 Lancer and a Nasher with the same amount of shots that it's usually always had, and then just get rid of active and possibly get rid of weapon jamming altogether, and just see how that flows. Alright, next on my list would be microtransactions. Now this one again might be a bit controversial, but I feel like no matter what we do, they're here to stay. Corporations are going to make their money somehow, so we have to have some sort of compromise. It sucks, but it's got to be there. Now, what I've noticed with these, what are they called? Live service games, where they kind of shit out a game and then they update it as they go. What I've noticed is, yes, typically DLCs and maps are free, which is good because the community doesn't get split. I got that. But I have noticed the quality of the game does go down. The amount of cosmetics that you can get does go down. So I feel like I would rather have a season pass, or season, what the fuck do you call those things? It's like, it's usually a $40 to $50 charge. That you would normally tack on the maps with, but this is my compromise. The live service would be this. Yes, you would get free maps. $60 comes with a base game, and the maps are live service, and they can also include microtransactions, which will pay for that live service. That way, the entire community has all the same maps, nothing split up. However, you could just buy the game just like that, but there will be a $50 season pass that you could or could not buy. It's up to you, that you would tack on top of that. And what that would include is things like cosmetics and whatnot. Whereas without the season pass, you would have to buy them individually through in-game currency or through just out-of-pocket money. And that's where they would make their money, through microtransactions. But if you bought the $50 season pass, all cosmetics would just immediately go into your inventory. They're just yours. You paid a $50 upcharge, whatever, it's yours. And of course, you can maybe do the math and figure it out. Okay, well, if you paid $50 now, it would be cheaper than if you bought everything individually, yada, 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 yada. So that would be my compromise, because I've noticed with the live service games, the cosmetics quantity and quality have drastically gone down. Take a look at Gears 4. I know it was a microtransaction nightmare with how much they would charge for things, but if you look at the weapon skins and character skins in that game, it there's no comparison when you look at Gears 5. Gears 5 is just a boring nightmare. There's just nothing there. All the weapon skins are lame. They're just boring. They're not fun. I don't want to log on to this game. The Tour of Duty system is lame and boring. I don't find it to be fun at all. It's just an annoying grind. I don't want to have to, like, you know, if I want something out of the Tour of Duty system, I can't just grind towards it. I have to unlock 30 other items first before I can get what I want. Whereas if I just either bought the Season Pass, I would always have it as soon as it comes out. Or if I didn't buy the Season Pass, I wanted to pay, like, you know, $10 or $15 for it, I could just at least buy it right then and there. I didn't have to waste my time unlocking stuff I didn't want. So that would be sort of my compromise. Like, hey, we get it, you need to make money somehow. Games are getting more expensive, but I want better quality and more items. So I don't know. You can disagree with it. Maybe it sucks. It's just an idea. But that's how I would lay out the microtransaction situation in Gears 6. Next on this segment, let's talk about competitive play and esports. This one, I'm not really too sure how I feel about it. I do notice that this game doesn't really hold a big player base, so trying to find ranked games is a little bit difficult. So what I would do is go back to 5v5, and I would only have 2 ranked game modes, and I would bring back Execution as a ranked game mode. It's my personal favorite, doesn't have to be yours. And the second map I would probably bring back, you know what, I'm not a fan of Escalation. I think it sucks. I think it's boring. I hate playing it. I'm sorry. I would just cut that off completely and just be done with it. I would probably bring back either King of the Hill or Team Deathmatch. And I know those may kind of make you facepalm a bit. I don't know what else is there. I just thought that Execution was the best competitive game mode. It was just your squad against their squad, no objective, just who is the better Gears player, not who can run to the objective faster, who can do whatever faster. It's just your squad against their squad. It requires the most amount of teamwork possible. 1 life per round, do 7 rounds. That would be great. Oh, here we go. That's it. That's what I'll get. I would do 3 competitive game modes. I would do Execution, King of the Hill, and then I would do 2v2 Nashers. That's what I would do. It would be great. It doesn't have to be that way. I'm not like an esports master. That's just my wish list. I feel like with those 3 game modes would keep a healthy population. You can find matches pretty quick. That's what I would do. And as far as social play, would also be King of the Hill, Team Deathmatch. And then I guess you could do whatever stuff like Dodgeball. I mean, I really am more focused on competitive play. I do think there might be room for a solos queue, if possible. I'm not sure. I think it would be kind of cool if they could make that work, but if they couldn't, I'm okay with that. As far as going into games with a team, I'm fine if you want to go in with a 5-stack in social play. I understand that a lot of you are like, oh, it's so annoying, it sucks when I go up against a 5-stack. I know, but the problem is I've noticed a lot of 3 stacks and 4 stacks where they're actually really bad players. So I don't want, it's just frustrating when it's like, I believe at one point in time in Gears 4, I could be wrong, where you could only do social with you and one other friend. And when it's like, okay, so it's me, my friend, and then we got some other guy who wants to try the game out. And oh, we can't play social, we have to play ranked. That's kind of lame because they're not really good, they're trash, and it's just like, I'm fine with a 5-stack in social play. But anyways, like I said, this is just my opinion. It's just my wish list. You don't have to agree with it. Okay, the next wish list for me, or wish on my wish list, would be how they lay out content. This is going to kind of be paired up with how microtransactions work. Not really. I just think they should kind of go back to that 3-pillar rule they had in Gears 4. We had campaign, horde, and multiplayer. I just don't really care for Hivebusters. I'm not a Horde player, but as far as I can tell, even Horde players say they don't really care. Most of us only play it because we have to complete challenges for the Tour of Duty. Just not a fan. I'd rather them focus on the campaign, focus on Horde, and then focus on multiplayer, and that's what we get. So with that being said, as far as content goes, I would like them to do what they did with Gears 4. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was 2 maps a month for a year, so that ended up with 24 maps. I think that's what they did. And I thought that was great. I thought it kept the game pretty fresh. I think we all can last a month to month for new maps, especially 2 of them. I thought that was pretty cool. As far as what kind of maps, I know a lot of people say, oh, I'm tired of Gridlock, I'm tired of Clock Tower. You know, I get it, I get it. They've just been rehashed over and over and over. But if you take a look at what the Coalition has been putting out on their own, it really can't make a lot of maps very well. So, I know it kind of sucks, but I'm okay if they keep shooting out Fuel Depot and Canals and Gridlock and Clock Tower, because honestly, that stuff's better than what they have. They have Foundation, which is great. I'm sure you could point out a few other maps, but let's be real. Epic Studios made better maps. So, and of course not all 24 maps are going to be all remakes, but point being, if they do remakes, I'm fine. It's okay with me. Another thing, I think dynamic weather would be pretty sick. So, each map doesn't actually have a set time of day or night or weather. It's completely random going into that map. So, let's say I queue up for a game and I land on, I don't know, Fuel Depot, which has pretty much always been at night. Now it's completely random if it's going to be evening, dawn, dusk, middle of the day, sun shining through, cloudy, rainy, thunderstorm, pitch black at night with stars out, completely random. It's just as you go into the map, it's just randomly generated. And if the map were to play out for many, many rounds, because it's dynamic, like let's say you go in and it's like a thunderstorm. Like, you know, it's raining throughout half the map, but then afterwards the clouds kind of move away and then some sun comes out, and so it's completely dynamic and weathering just changes as you play. I think that would be super dope. I don't know, maybe you guys think it's lame. I think it'd be pretty cool. Okay, so that's maps. As far as cosmetics go, please, Coalition, focus on cosmetics. I loved how many cosmetics there were in Gears 4 with weapon skins and character skins. It's super cool, keeps the game fresh, keeps me wanting to log back on and seeing what I can unlock or what I can purchase or what I can do this or that or whatever. Keeps the game fresh, it's cool, a plethora amount of stuff. I would like to keep the game kind of dark and gritty with like a dark color palette sort of similar to like Gears 1 and Gears 2, but I'm okay with vibrant color, vibrant weapon skins if you want to have like whatever, green bubbles, or whatever they had in Gears 4, or orange bubbles, or lightning, or whatever. That's fine with me, it's cool, I don't have a problem with it, but the overall scheme of things to be a dark palette. So as far as content goes, that's what I would like. I did think Hivebusters was pretty sweet, so if they wanted to do like a 2-year down the road, or year and a half down the road campaign DLC, I mean sure, whatever, but I would like to focus a lot on cosmetics in Gears 5, because excuse me, in Gears 6, because it's quite clear in Gears 5 that was not on their top priority. The cosmetics is just, it's just boring and there's nothing there. And they're probably going to say it's because they spent all their resources on Hivebusters or the campaign DLC, or I don't know, they'll come up with something. But please go back to lots and lots of cosmetics because we love it. We just do. I mean, take a look at how popular Call of Duty is. It's all about what weapon skins. So that would be cool. So as far as content goes, that's how I feel. Alright, last on my wish list would be, this is important to me. It's something that we haven't had in Gears in a very, very long time. And that would be to actually go back to Gore and not this meat sack full of Play-Doh. Oh my gosh, is this lame. What made Gears, well not what made Gears, but a part of what made Gears super popular was the gore, and that's not like a weird, sick, twisted issue that like, oh, weird gamers are into that type of thing. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. Like if you just go back and watch Gears 1 clips, oh my gosh, was the gore so much better. It actually had gore. When you would hit someone, they didn't just explode in some weird way that doesn't make sense like it is in Gears 5 and 4, where they just like explode in 5 different directions and body parts flying everywhere. That's not realistic at all. You would shoot someone with a Nasher and gib them or chunk them in Gears 1, and just the way they split made sense. It was just such a dark blood red. You actually had things like organs and a rib cage and whatnot, and the pop that it would make when you blew someone's head off. It was just so much better. And then someone somewhere told me that the reason why they got rid of having realistic gore was because it took too many resources, and they couldn't have the game look as pretty as it does today if they were to add in like rib cages and real life gore. I don't know. I think that's kind of like an excuse. I think having real gore may have to do with an ESRB rating, where like we're just moving into this overly sensitive culture, so we can't have realistic gore, and that's just kind of like, you know, just an excuse. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is a resource thing. If it is a resource thing and not a politics thing, I would love for you guys to go back to real gore. Just model what you guys, just take Gears 1 and model it off of that. It was so beautiful, so perfect. It made the game dark and gritty. It was so cool. So that's really all I have for this wish list. It's kind of all over the place a bit. I didn't really do an order. I just kind of wanted to do an open mic talk. If they were to throw everything I have listed into Gears 6, oh my gosh, would I buy that game so quick. Gears 5 is pretty much dead to me. I only play it just to record for content. Other than that, it is just dead in the water. So if they had all of this in Gears 6, I would be so back. And I think a lot of old fans would be as well. So that's what I have here. If you guys like the content, please subscribe. Feel free to disagree with everything I say. That's totally cool. Please comment down below, what would you need in Gears 6 to sort of revive that passion you used to have for this game. Let me know. Thanks, guys.